Nkechi had always dreamed of living alone. When she found a small, affordable apartment in the heart of Lagos, she thought her dreams had come true. The landlord, an elderly man with tired eyes, handed her the keys with an unsettling warning: keep to yourself, and don't dig too deep into the past. Her first night was peaceful, except for the distant sound of a talking drum playing in the wind. It was almost as if the earth itself was whispering secrets. As she settled in, she took in the sights and sounds of the old building, its walls holding secrets that she was yet to uncover. The place had a strange ambience, both welcoming and uninviting at the same time. While rearranging furniture, Nkechi's foot hit a loose floorboard. Curious, she pried it open and found an old, dusty diary wrapped in faded Ankara fabric. The name on the first page read Nkiru Obina. As she flipped through the pages, a strange chill settled over her. Nkiru's entries spoke of the same apartment. She wrote about hearing whispers at night and seeing shadows dance along the walls. But what unsettled Nkechi the most was the final sentence on the first page: if you are reading this, you are next. The handwriting was hurried, almost frantic. The ink was smudged in some places, as if Nkiru had been writing in fear. Who was Nkiru? What had happened to her? Nkechi's fingers trembled as she turned the pages, drawn into the mystery before her. Nkechi brushed it off as paranoia, but that night, she heard it, the soft sound of bare feet padding across the floor. She turned on the light. Nothing. The diary's next pages spoke of a faceless woman who watched Nkiru in her sleep, standing at the foot of her bed. Nkechi shuddered but convinced herself it was just an old wife's tale. Until she saw the footprints in the dust by her door. The realization sent a wave of fear crashing over her. She was alone in the apartment, so who had left those prints? She checked the locks twice that night before she could convince herself to sleep. The next day, she approached the landlord. Nkiru. That name should not be spoken here, he muttered, avoiding her eyes. She was the last girl who lived there. She disappeared. The spirits took her. Nkechi laughed nervously. Spirits. The landlord sighed. This building was built on an old village shrine. The gods were never appeased when the land was taken. Now, they collect what is theirs. She wanted to dismiss his words as mere superstition, but the evidence was stacking up. The diary. The strange noises. The footprints. Nkechi tried to ignore the eerie events, but the more she read, the worse things got. One night, while brushing her hair, she caught movement in the mirror. A dark figure stood behind her. She turned sharply, nothing was there. But her reflection was still staring back, a second too late. The air in the room grew thick with tension. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. Something was wrong. The diary entries became frantic. Nkiru had started sleepwalking, waking up outside by the riverbanks, feet covered in wet sand. She calls to me, singing in the water, Nkiru had written. If I answer, I won't come back. That night, Nkechi dreamed of a woman in a flowing white wrapper, standing knee-deep in the river. Her eyes were black, her voice a haunting melody. Nkechi woke up gasping, her feet were wet. The panic was real now. She needed answers, and fast. Determined to find the truth, Nkechi flipped through the diary, only to find pages torn out towards the end. What had happened to Nkiru? The whispers grew louder. The drumming in the distance became urgent. And in her dreams, the woman in white stepped closer, reaching for her. Nkechi started researching the apartment's history. She visited old newspaper archives, spoke to elderly residents, and pieced together a chilling past of disappearances spanning decades. Desperate, Nkechi sought out a local priestess, Mama Udu. The spirit of the river wants restitution, Mama Udu said. She was wronged, and she takes young women as payment. Then how do I stop her? You must return what was stolen. But first, you must finish reading the diary. The answer is within. Mama Udu handed Nkechi a small calabash filled with white chalk and red powder. When the time comes, mark yourself with this. It will protect you. Nkechi returned home and found the missing pages hidden in the back cover. The last entry read, "She is inside now. I cannot fight her. If you are reading this, you must return to the river before she takes you too. But beware, she does not come alone." A chill ran down Nkechi's spine. The shadows in her room shifted. She wasn't alone. Gripping the diary, Nkechi ran to the river at midnight. The wind howled through the trees, and the water churned restlessly. The woman in white appeared, singing her haunting song. "I am not yours to take," Nkechi shouted. The woman's face twisted in fury, and the river roared. Hands reached from the water, grasping for Nkechi. Nkechi remembered the diary's final warning, "She does not come alone." That's when she saw them, the others. Shadows of women trapped beneath the water, their eyes pleading for help. In desperation, Nkechi tossed the diary into the river. "Take back what was stolen." The water stilled. The woman in white let out a wail before sinking beneath the surface. As dawn broke, Nkechi felt the weight lift. The spirits had been appeased. But the knowledge of the past would haunt her forever. She left the apartment, carrying only her memories, vowing never to return. But as she walked away, a whisper followed her in the wind, "We are never truly gone."